Okay, welcome everyone to myself and Paul's Spiritual Talk. It's Wednesday, it's 7 o'clock, and we are live, as they say. So, how you doing, Paul? How's everything?
I'm good, buddy. How are you?
Very well, thank you. We've both got white tops on, so I don't know if you're an angel, but I don't know if I'm feeling one too.
I'm a little bit further away than that. So it's absolutely pelting down with snow here, mate, up in Norfolk. What's it doing down in Essex?
Well, we've had our fair share of snow, mate. So thankfully the sun came out today, and a lot of that snow is now starting to melt. So yeah, a lot better than it was.
Yeah. Have we got anybody on yet? I don't think we've got anybody come on yet, have we?
Okay, so under comments at the moment, we've got Sue Lynn. So great to Sue. Great to see you, Sue. Hope you're well. And hello, Joe Webster. Good to see you too. Hi, Mandy. Fantastic to see you. And we've got Donna as well. Lovely to see you too. So just some of them people have come on already. There's quite a few coming on already. Excellent stuff.
Can I just point out, Tasha is actually saying I'm an angel. So that's really nice of you, Tasha.
I agree with you, Natasha. So, Paul, another week. We've finally got our technology sorted out for our weekly spiritual talk together. So I'm just going to pass the baton over to you, mate, and just get you to explain to everyone how it's all working today.
Yeah, I mean, it's great to see everyone coming on. Hi, everybody. Hi, Sally. Hi, Catherine. It's good to see everyone joining us here tonight. Yeah, after last week's disaster, we've kind of earned this, really, Anthony, haven't we? Trying to get this live. So, yeah, we just wanted to create this platform for everybody, really, because we've been kind of watching what's out there. There's a lot of mediums out there bringing messages and bits and pieces. But we kind of wanted to make this more informative and a more interactive chat with our audience. So we're kind of asking everybody out there any questions, not just on mediumship, anything to do with this kind of thing, you know, whether it's from UFOs to, we just don't mind, ghosts, whatever you want, your own personal experiences, please share with us. But at the end of the evening, getting towards the end of it, we are going to try and do a few messages, though, Anthony, aren't we?
We're going to try and get some.
You never know. We might get someone for yourselves, a nice message. Hi, Jane. Hi, Holly. Yeah, so please post your messages. Your questions. Anything you want to ask. Hi, Jade.
Hi, Alan.
Hopefully we'll kick it off from here. I've got, that's great, so many people coming on. Hi, Victoria.
And hi, James.
Shall we just talk amongst ourselves for a bit, everybody, and wait for some questions coming up? So, I've been in my mediumship recently. I've got a little development group, and one thing that's come up is talking about the power. For you, mate, what does the power mean for you in your mediumship? Well, how do you create that power with yourself, with your work?
To be fair, Paul, I mean, in respect to the power, I think a lot of people, first of all, get confused by, getting into the power and also the difference between meditation. Now, I was always taught that the difference between going into the power is, especially doing mediumship, as you well and truly know, it's basically just finding your space, getting into your space. So sitting in a quiet environment definitely helps. But sitting in the power is sitting in your own space, being comfortable and relaxed in your own skin, really, and just allowing the energy to build up. Now, what I feel with respect to the energy, it could be anything: change of temperature, change of mindset, and the change of being much more calmer. Now, I always find when it's getting into the power, a lot of people I found in the past, including myself, is trying to stop this monkey chat. It's what we call the monkey mind, and that's one of the most difficult things. Now, whether you're a medium or whether you're just interested in spirituality and watching other mediums do their thing in the churches or on platform, it's the main thing is to be prepared. Get prepared. As like if you're building a house, you make sure your tools are close to you to start the job, and to be nice and quiet. Usually without music, I find helps, but because it makes you think of other things or memories if a certain song comes into your awareness. So usually just keeping quiet, mate, to be honest, and then allowing everything to be nice and relaxed. I've always used the understanding of getting into power where you become quiet and you listen for the birds in the trees, or try and keep pulling your awareness further and further out afield. Maybe you can hear the traffic in the distance if you're not too close to a main road, and then I'll try and really build that power up. That's my general answer to your question, Paul, in general about the power. What about for you?
I think it's a really interesting subject, because we've all learned over the years, rightly or wrongly, different ways of getting into the power. And I don't actually like the connotations of the power itself, because it implies power. People think it implies control. For me, it's about connecting with your own spirituality. And to quote a very famous medium years gone by, Gordon Higginson, I think it's essential to kind of develop your own spirituality before you do any kind of mediumship. But for me, I think there's a bit of a grey area, I think, with people's understanding when it comes to working with spirit, on what that power is. For me, power is a bit like the petrol you put in your car. And, you can drive that car at 60 miles an hour, and that energy will run out really quickly. Or you could bomb down a motor at 100 miles, not that I do that, by the way, 100 miles an hour, and that power would drain very quickly. So you see in demonstrations, you hear mediums say, "Oh, I'm losing my power now, it's coming to the end of the evening." That's very common. So for me, mediumship is the power is about repetition, about working your mediumship, and for me it's a bit like a muscle. The more you work your muscles, the more power you build, and the more you get used to bringing messages through, and you're able to sustain that power. The problem is there's so many, there's short term and there's long term, how you create that power in the first place. And I think I've probably gone in with a massive question in there, because I could probably talk about this all day, because it's a really interesting topic. I mean, for me, affirmations, prayers really help me. Surrendering as well to spirit. Hi Jane, I've got a question from you. Can your loved ones on the other side come back and be reborn Earth plane while you're still here? That's a really interesting question, because obviously some faiths don't believe in reincarnation. I personally do. I've had my own personal experiences with reincarnation. Yes. How do you feel about reincarnation, Anthony?
To be fair, Paul, with that question that Jane Clark's posted in there, as you can see on the screen, I'm a 100% believer in reincarnation. I've got my own feelings about it. I can actually remember, which is, I know, quite strange in saying that, the feelings from a previous existence. Now, I don't know about you, Paul. I'm going to throw the question back to you. I know we've only got an hour today. We've got so many questions coming in today, but
yeah, that's great.
Just a little something just to throw out to everyone. If people don't know this on the stream, I've got a real problem with blood. I've literally, if I see it right from a little child, literally right, if I cut my knee when I fell off my bike when I was little, anything to do with operation programs on TV, or anything to do with like old history films where there was battles or torture or whatever, I just pass out. I just faint. And my brain is saying, so what? What's the problem? So what? What's the issue here? But my body just goes. Now, my mum's had regression, what's known as regression, where you seek out a professional to help you to find out if there is certain issues in respect to what you're carrying forwards into future lives. So I'm just going to use the example of this life that we're living in my skin in this life as a future life with respect to what happened in the past. My belief system is saying, I believe in this. but my internal self is feeling, whoa, what the heck is going on? And I literally will pass out. Now, you don't know this, Paul, but because of this particular question, I'm bringing it up.
I didn't know about this, mate. I didn't. This is really fascinating to me. Sorry, carry on.
So, yeah. So, in respect with Jane, can your loved ones on the other side come back to be reborn on the earth plane while you're still here? That I personally have heard that this happens, but not necessarily all the time. But if it's quite a bit of an open question, this one, because would they come back if you had a positive connection in the life that you had with them? Say it was your dad and they passed, like my dad's passed now, but I'm still living my life. I would know that he, for example, would be a guide or a helper of mine because of that love and that compassion. Would they come back if you're still here? Why not? They could if they wanted to, but it's an open question, Jane, to be honest, because what they could do, but why would they if you're still here? They would want to meet you, wouldn't they, if you went back to spirit and you go home? What do you think, Paul, on that? It's quite open.
Right, there's a really good program on Netflix. Everyone's been talking about it. If you're looking for reincarnation evidence, do you know what I'm talking about, mate? The Netflix series recently, I'm sure one of our viewers would be able to tell us. It slipped my mind at the moment, but it talks about all different types of things, reincarnation.
Yeah, surviving.
And I think it's episode 5 where they bring. There's a lot of evidence around that, so that's really interesting, James. Have a look at that. We've got quite a few more questions coming in. I think Ali, she asked, should mediums feel drained after giving messages? And again, we're talking about going back to that power question again. Yes, absolutely. But for me, it's like you say, you kind of build that power. And, you know, you see mediums that are expected to work on platform for an hour and a half. I know I've done an hour and a half demonstration before. Yes, obviously it is tiring at the end of the day when you've done an hour and a half contact and you start to, it's interesting, you'll notice with a medium, normally the last message from a medium, when they say, oh, I'll just give one more message, you normally find that message isn't as good as the rest of them, especially when they go to their recipient, because everyone's going, oh, it's not for me, and the energy just drains. And it's really quite obvious. It's really interesting to watch after as well. Yeah, Life After Death on Netflix.
Yeah, fantastic series, Paul.
I believe that's what it's called.
Yeah,
so
that's
thank you, Sue. So yeah, that's a good question. Now, thank you.
Okay. So there's a question here as well from a good friend of mine.
Mate, there's many more questions. I've got quite a few.
Yep. Okay, we've got a question here for a good friend of mine, Kieran. Good to see you, mate. He's asking, how can I understand the difference between my contact with spirit and just some random thoughts, which I feel pop in my mind from time to time once I've connected with spirit? Now, I'm just gonna go on this one, if that's okay. Now, I don't know about you, Kieran, because I do remember you from when we did Circle many moons ago. It seems like yesterday, but there's no such thing as time in that respect, is there? But the difference between contact with spirit and just random thoughts. Now, it's interesting that you say random thoughts, because what is random? What is a thought? If I said to you, Kieran, like, tell me what your next thought's going to be, you won't know what the answer is. So if a thought comes into your head, say, for instance, you're working on I don't know if you're still doing your mechanic work, mate, but if you're doing your mechanic work and you suddenly get a thought come into your head and you think, I need to ring a particular person up, and it's really boring into your head, it's like, I need to pick the phone up. That's usually spirit, because they're telling you, or they're giving you that vibration that something has changed within your awareness. Now, you may not be thinking about this person. You may not be thinking about what you're going to be cooking for dinner tonight. You may be just focusing what you're particularly focusing on at any given moment. And then suddenly, bang, you get a thought in your head, or you'll get a feeling like, oh, I've got a pressure in my chest. And this is the same thing, mate, as giving mediumship demonstrations. Like, do I get a pressure in my chest? Do I get a pressure in my throat? Did that person pass of a heart attack? Did I get a pain in my stomach? Is it a bowel cancer, for example? And to be honest, mate, any random thought usually is spirit. The difference between connecting with spirit and not connecting with it is you being completely aware if you're not connected, or you're aware that you are. Now, if you're not, and you don't get a random thought, and you're thinking to yourself, I need to go and fill my car up with fuel, that's your thought. That's coming from you, because you know what you're intending to do within your own self. When you're not, and something comes in, that's usually spirit. What do you think, Paul?
Yeah, I think it's understanding the process of the flow of spirit. So for me, I'm very much being a guy, I kind of analytical, so kind of I like to know how everything works. For me, our connection with spirit is through our super consciousness, which then touches into our subconscious and then into our conscious minds. And it's interesting, I think we had a conversation about this recently, Anthony, that the majority of mediums out there are women, because women, the psychic skills are largely in the subconscious. So women generally are very good with their intuitive skills, they're more in touch with their own inner feelings, intuition, etc. So for guys, we're very analytical. So for us, it's about shifting our consciousness into that space. And to be honest about it, and yes, as guys, we'll laugh about it, but we do have to be in touch with the balance of the feminine and the masculine energy within us to get us into that mode, to connect with spirit. But like I've said to people that work with this, it's just repetition of practice. How do I recognize when I'm getting a message from spirit? Obviously, for me, I've been doing this for quite some time. You feel the shift. And Gemma's just asked a great question. How do I receive your message? Is it a voice or is it a symbol? To be honest, Gemma, that's a great question, because spirit will give you the messages in every which way possible, and they will develop. So if you're only working in one way to start with, some people only see images. And this is a kind of follow-on question from that last question. And one of the last senses to come in is clairaudience. I know some of you out there, my friend Tasha, who's just said hi on here, she's also clairaudient. That was one of her natural gifts to start with. So you're very lucky if you have that. But all the other senses will come. The more you use it, the more the senses will come. And like I said, it's like a muscle. The more you work it, the bigger it grows. I wish I could use a better analogy, but it just comes to my head. But so yeah, for me, symbols, symbolic, because also kind of going back into that other question, we can make assumptions with our mind, and there's so many ways that we can trip up with the images that we get from spirit. And again, to quote Gordon Higginson, you know, there's a lot of things that can kind of go wrong, but many are called, but only a few are chosen, because it's such a difficult discipline, mediumship. You can kind of get fed up with it really quickly. But I do believe if you kind of have good foundations, you can develop that side of yourself. And I think when I talk about development in mediumship, it's not just about doing mediumship. If you wanted to kind of go down the side of the unfoldment of oneself, one's spirituality, your mediumship gifts will open anyway. So what do you think, buddy? I'm aware that I'm just waffling on, but I hope that was answered your question, Gemma. That's a good question from Sarah. Can you see that one? What about smells and tastes when sense and spirit? That's really interesting.
Right.
Personally, can you see it from Sarah Leach? Sarah, I'm going to answer that question quickly. I have had tastes and smells. Smells are one of the first senses that we get, actually. Quite common is the smell of smoke or smell of fragrance that people will pick up on. And yeah, that's kind of one of the first senses that comes in. How about you, buddy? Have you had any experiences with taste?
I've had I have had it with both, to be honest, mate. Now, Sarah, good to see you tonight. So yeah, smells. Usually, what I can remember through mediumship demonstrations, one-to-one sit-ins, etc. The biggest one I've had is tobacco. The smell of tobacco usually is a lovely connection. The way a loved one works, if they were a smoker. Or if they're, talking about a particular type of memory that they've got. I've had, for example, the taste of the tobacco as well as the smell on the tongue. I can actually then smell it off the fingertips when, for instance, someone who's smoked in the past has used rollies, roll-up cigarettes. And also perfumes, aftershave, that kind of smell. So, for example, did Grandma have her talcum powder on, her powder compacts, her favourite perfume that she used to get at Christmas time, that kind of thing. So, yeah, 9 times out of 10, Sarah, that's one of the Clairs, one of the Clair sentient type of connections with working with spirit. And I love that particular type of connection. It really works, doesn't it?
Yeah. Did you know, buddy, the taste, it's Claire Gustafson's. I didn't know that was Claire Gustafson's. It was only recently I was doing some research into the Claire skill set. There's actually 11, which really surprised me. But Claire Gustafson's, I mean, I've just got to share this with you. I had experience recently where this lady came through. And one of the things she used to make for her daughter was an apple pie. And I could literally taste it. It was so fantastic. I could taste the apple pie. She was such a good cook. So we do get taste. It can be part of the picture of bringing spirit through. So
I've got a lovely Paul. I want some of that tomorrow. Now I'm going to see if I can buy some.
Apple pie. Apple pie,
yeah, not cinnamon.
Better, but there you go.
Not cinnamon. I hate it though. Yeah. Got a lovely question here coming from. Thanks, thanks, Gemma. It's the wrong one. Okay. Where did that jump off to? That question. I had a lovely question there come through. Where did that?
Was that from Alfie? Was it from Alfie?
Lovely question. I suddenly popped up and disappeared. They're coming through thick and fast. Oh, there it is. There it is. Okay, so I think it's a follower of yours, I believe, Paul.
Oh, that's a good one, Susan. Yeah, that's a really good one. So when someone passes, how soon can they come through? I've had different experiences with this. I remember once a lady came through the day after she passed. Very, very strong. And then I've had, some of you might know, my own father passed. And that took me about 4 or 5 years before I had a connection with him. Obviously, being close to me, there's the emotional connection. So it always can be quite difficult. When we're close to someone and emotionally, our conscious mind seems to come in the way of that. But yeah, so it really depends on a person. Me personally, I feel it's about the person's state of mind before they pass, whether they are open to this. This is kind of an open question, really. Some people have different ideas and different feelings about this. But yes, I've had people come through that have only been passed recently. Then, and other times, it can take some time. Yeah. How about you, buddy? Had an experience of that?
Yeah, well, the best one ever was my grandma. I know I'm saying that because it's my grandma, but that's the first thing coming to my head with this question from Susan. Literally, she died of a heart attack in the hospital. She probably actually had 2 or 3, to be honest, within short hours apart from each other. She came through she came through the next day. Within 24 hours, she came through to a very well-known medium and a good friend of the family, of my family, especially through growing up. And yeah, she was through in hours. And she woke this medium up during the night when she was asleep. And because my family know her really well, she was round knocking on the door the next day. And it definitely helped my mum a hell of a lot with respect to that. And because my grandma was a believer in spirit, I just personally, my personal belief system is that it helped, her connection was strong with that understanding. So maybe it made it easier for her to come through. And she shared some lovely information about what the dress was that she wore on her wedding day. Cutting the story short, we cleared her house out of, after she died, cleared her house out of her belongings, you know, and making sure we're disposing of things. Came across the calendar in her kitchen, and she basically passed away on her wedding day. And that's why in that reading she showed herself in her wedding dress. So absolute fantastic evidence, and of course from spirit and from the medium. So that's just a little story I thought I'd share with everyone on that one. Okay, so more questions flying in.
Really good, mate. There's a really good one from Jane Clark. My husband would like to know your thoughts on trance and ectoplasm.
I'll let you go.
I know Jane. I was going to say, I want you to go on this one because I know Jane and Trevor really well. A big shout out to Trevor. Yeah, so I'll just give you my ideas on this. It's been a funny one. Again, those who watched that program recently on Netflix, you know, there was a lot of hoaxes back in the day, but there was also some real evidence for that. I know some of you guys might not have heard of the Arthur Findlay College. Arthur Findlay College down in Stansted is probably one of the best places for studying mediumship, trance, physical mediumship, healing as well in the world, to be honest. Some great mediums of some of the great pioneers have been tutors there. And I know there was some talk when I was there recently. There was a guy, I can't remember where the story was, but this guy, apparently, he has up to 10 people in a sitting, and he manifests a hand. And everyone was excited, and everyone was talking about this. And he invites the people that he has in the sitting to shake the hand. And when they leave the room, they all feel that they've actually shake the hand of somebody they know. So it's quite interesting. And they ranged that particular sitting from a young girl to an elderly man. So I find that really fascinating. I believe in the program, they took a mold of a pair of hands. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah.
So there was a lot of good evidence against ectoplasm. There's a lot of fakes, but there was also some they couldn't disprove. So yeah, I'm very open-minded to it. I've done a little bit of trance work myself. Yeah, so I totally, there is, for me personally, I do think it exists. Not to the point, this is where I kind of get a bit confused. You know, apparently ectoplasm can burn, and there's obviously the famous story of Helen Duncan, who, I don't know if you guys know about this. She was the reason why the Witchcraft Act was revoked. I think it was around 1952, 53, 54. The lady was doing a trance demonstration behind closed doors. The police were called. Someone didn't agree with what was happening, and she was locked up. But because she didn't get back into her body properly, she died in the prison cell a few days later. So then it went to Parliament, and they got rid of the Witchcraft Act, of about 200 years old, this act. So it's only been a few years, Anthony, that we've been able to do this without getting risk of being arrested. So yeah, so it's interesting. There's a lot of talk about this. Also, the lot of trance circle stuff as well. The skull experiment is worth looking up if anybody's interested. That's a really interesting one. We've got loads of questions coming in, which is brilliant.
We're going to have to flash through to these next questions, but I'm going to put up, I think, or do a little video about this program that we've both seen, haven't we, Paul? And about the program. And I know someone's commented on here about it, so I'll flash that up when I find it. There's loads of questions. Lovely question coming through here from Jade. So nice to see you on here tonight, Jade, who's asking, why is it night time that I get a lot of spirits coming through? Now, it's interesting that the question is actually a statement. So why is it night time? Well, if it is nighttime and it is spirit, I'm not doubting you, Jade, that it isn't spirit. If you know the difference between your own self and your own thought process and spirit coming in. Now, usually for people that I've known, I mean, I know Paul does his, don't you, Paul? You do your own circle. And
Yeah.
I definitely know that
Jade's part of that circle, so.
Oh, is it? Oh, is she? Oh, good. Oh, lovely.
Can I just say, I'm just going to give her a big shout out. She did the most amazing connection last week. She's a really good buddy medium.
Fantastic. Yeah. I'm just going to answer that, Jade. I'll let you answer it as well, Paul, I think, because as you, Jade's in your circle, that would make sense too. But why is it nighttime? My general feelings on that matter is that when you're asleep, your conscious state is different. So your subconscious level is a much more heightened level of awareness, but your conscious mind, your everyday thinking mind can actually go to sleep, because that's what sleep's all about. Doesn't mean that we're brain dead, because we're not, because we definitely wake up the next morning. But I also feel with that particular thought process with the question is that when we go to sleep, we're also learning as well. We have a more of an intelligence when we're asleep, because we're connecting with spirit at a much finer vibration. That means that our levels are rising to their level, and their level, they can connect with us by raising their vibration. So we meet in the middle. It's basically very similar, Jade, to like tuning in a radio station, one of those old wirelesses, maybe back in the day, quite a while ago, when you're in granddad's, grandma's day, when you tune in both sort of knobs to get that connection just right. And usually if it's not through dreams or manifestation through that awareness, that, like, for instance, like future, that you'll be getting deja vu moments within the awakened state as well. Usually loved ones come in dream state, and you can even see things like the clarity can be amazing. And I'm sure you've had this, Jade. Like, you can see the eyelashes, you can see even the lines on their face. They come so clear. How do you feel, Paul, about this?
Well, I don't know whether Jade was talking whether she was asleep or whether she was just, you know, when you get into bed and you start to relax and you try to drift off, that they come as well. Because that can also, sometimes it's just the quietening of the mind and having the opportunity to have 5 minutes for yourself. I do also think it's about creating boundaries as well, because obviously you want to rest and you want to sleep. So, but other than that, Matt, I think otherwise you answered that pretty well. Oh, okay. Jake's just put yes, Paul. I'm still awake. So yeah, I think some of that is because I know Jade's a busy mum, and you know, with children and hectic life going on around you. Even, I mean, let's face it, homeschooling. Most parents are going to be grey after lockdown, I think, trying to teach lots of homeschooling. I'm so glad my kids are past that phase. So, yeah, sorry, guys. But yeah, no, I think that's just literally because you're set in your mind and you're sitting in your mind. So, yeah, I mean, go into that for a little while, Jade, spend some time in that, you know, that's fine. But just remember, you do need to get good rest as well. Okay.
So just quickly before we move on. Also, Jade, if you're awake and you're not asleep, you also can chill out, and you can feel that connection if your mind is not busy and racing as well. Okay. Lovely question from Mary. Nice to see you tonight, Mary. Just thought I'm going to throw this out to the discussion as well. So Mary sharing a message here. When her mother passed away, she felt something like a jump in her own body, but she never understood it until she got home and she was told that her mother passed away. So my general feelings on that is, I don't know what you feel about this, Paul, but my feelings is that she actually connected with her mother, even though she wasn't in that close proximity. How do you feel?
Yeah, you know, when our loved ones come close to us, or for us, the spirit gives us a message, because we kind of got to remember that we're all spiritual beings, but we're in a physical body. So we're having this physical experience, but we're all spiritual beings. So the spirit of your mum is trying to blend with you to reassure you that she's okay. I found in my experience, when someone just passes and they're not by the bedside, a lot of people have experiences oh, I saw this person in a reflection, or, you know, their mother came to see them before they went. So that's really common. So I don't doubt what you're saying. I do believe that would have been her coming to just try and touch your essence, just to give you her love and to reassure you. I hope that was okay. Hi, Celine. We've got some great questions as well, mate. There's still loads of questions coming.
Yeah, there's loads coming in. Trying to keep up.
So there's one from Samantha.
Samantha Jane.
There's one from Samantha. If you want to put that up on the screen.
They got a big one on here. A big question. I have a spirit that lives in the house.
Look at that. We can't see him. I feel like that. We got to look over the top of it. Look.
I've just seen my eyes. Okay, I have a spirit that lives in our house with us, and she often shows herself to me, and now keeps waking me up during the night. I have mild abilities. What would be the best way to make contact with her without making the activity worse for the rest of the family, as I feel she is asking me for help or guidance? Wow, that's a big question.
Oh, hello, mate, I'm back again.
Yeah,
I couldn't see where we're going.
I just thought I'd knock that down. I can see you.
Yeah. So that's a really interesting question. Do you want to answer that?
Wow. Where do you start on that, Paul? That's a big. That's an essay. Okay.
Well, there's a couple of things really. Firstly, I don't believe if you've got say it was your mum. I can't see it again. We have a spirit that lives in our house. Sometimes with certain, that's all right, man, I've got it now. Thank you. With people we've got somebody in our house, maybe even the essence of someone that lived their life before that has passed, maybe even passed in that house. You can sometimes, it really depends on the type of energy that's in the house. You know, it could just be a bit like when a snake loses its skin. It could just be the amount of skin or the energy of the person that used to live there. So depending on what's happening or the kind of phenomenon you're experiencing, I wouldn't worry too much. Okay, so yes, and yourself that's activating. If someone is psychic within the house, it can always activate that energy anyway. So I wouldn't worry too much unless you're having more activity. But I wouldn't worry too much about that, to be honest, Samantha. I just kind of go with it. If you want to connect with it, yeah, okay. But then again, it is your home, so kind of remember it's your home now, just to create your boundaries in your house, basically. Prayer is always good. I don't necessarily believe in protection because I think you are your own light, the love that comes from you, your spirit, your divinity, etc. That's your protection. Okay, so I wouldn't worry too much. What we don't want to do is get caught up in the fear of things, because really there is nothing to fear. And an old lady I used to know used to tell me, there's nothing to fear in the other life. It's those that are here you've got to worry about. And I think she was spot on. So in that respect, don't worry. You can have experiences, you can feel things, absolutely fine, but don't fear that. Not at all. And like you say, it could be yourself that's kind of activating with your own abilities. Okay.
I think Paul, I think if I can just jump in there as well, I just think also if it's your space, it's your home, it's also it's to have boundaries, isn't it? Have guidelines. I mean, a spirit, especially depending on which spirits are coming through, it's like a moth to a flame to them. It's all to do with like the attraction of that person.
Yeah, absolutely. There's another good one from Gemma. Is it true past loved ones come to help us cross over when it's absolutely?
Definitely.
Again, I've had experience of this. Yeah, and again on that program on Netflix, they go into a hospice and they interview a doctor, a consultant that's done a lot of end of life care, and he talks about, and they do research into how many people have this they start to see people. Not everybody. I think that's statistics are. Am I right in saying it was about 50 or 60% of people were seeing loved ones or having experiences? So and myself, it's a. I get messages.
80%.
Yeah, it could be more than that. Yeah, absolutely. I know. I've had messages from the other side when they've come through that, oh, my partner was there to meet me, or my brother, you know. So yeah, absolutely. I have been told that it's one of the most beautiful things. Once, obviously, dying is obviously quite a painful experience, but actually, it's quite a quick experience and out of that quite quickly. Okay, and we're passing through quite quickly. I've had a few people come to me and tell me about their death experiences as well when they've come to see me, and it's quite interesting. All of them have said they felt they were out of their body really quickly, looking back at themselves really quickly. So, which I guess spares us from the pain. You know, you kind of look at some people and how they pass, and you think that's very, very difficult. Like, I'd hate to be my life's my worst fear. Who'd want to get hit by a lorry? You know, surely we don't choose them how we pass. But in my mediumship, I've kind of learned that we don't have a choice, but we kind of know when we're going to pass. So yeah, it's going to happen anyway. But the passing experience itself is not too painful. I've been told by Spirit it's a beautiful thing. And also Spirit, which is really important to say, they talk about us all returning home. And this feeling of overwhelming love as soon as they come out of the body, which is a wonderful thing. Again, it gives us some peace. And Gemma's just said, as thought as Mark. Yeah, I saw it with my granddad. My man definitely came to get him. He was smiling and at her and calling her name. How beautiful is that, Gemma? It doesn't get any better than that, really. So yeah, thank you for that question.
Okay, fantastic.
Awesome.
Fantastic stuff with that feedback there, Paul. Lovely information. Just want to mention, just want to put this up on the screen for everyone's knowledge. What the program we've been referring to this evening is this, and this is just from my my spiritual page, just throwing it up on there.
That's
and thanks, Katie, for your help behind the scenes.
Mate,
there.
That's a great photo of you, by the way. Are you on holiday somewhere? Where are you on that picture?
No, Katie and myself, we were in Tenerife at the time. This was before the terrible coronavirus days. So lovely evening in the sun, shared over a glass of wine. And just so you know, it's the program on Netflix is called Surviving Death. Now, lovely program if you're a subscriber to Netflix, and it will explain a lot of these things within the questions that have been shared tonight. Life after death, the experience of transition, reincarnation, and out-of-body experiences, and that's just naming just a few. So if you've got Netflix, type in the search bar Surviving Death. The program should pop up, and there's 6 episodes. They're roughly about 45-50 minutes long, and why not watch it? And I'm sure you might even have some of your questions answered by looking at that program. There we have it. Good stuff. Okay, so we've got roughly about 15 minutes left, Paul. How do you feel in doing some messages now, or shall we go through a couple more questions?
No, let's do some messages, shall we? Do you want to go first?
Okay, right. Okay.
How do you want to do this, though? I'm not sure if you...
I'm just going to go with the vibe. Okay, I'm going to go first because that's popped out there. Okay, I'm going to chuck in the mix Kieran Francis. Great to see you again, mate. And he said thanks for your help earlier. So, Kieran, I am just going to flash that back down there. Just feel with yourself, my friend. I'm just getting drawn not only to your energy tonight in coming on. Now, I've seen you pop up a couple of times in the last few months in general with other things that I've been doing since this lockdown. But that's not the reason for coming to you today. and I'm going to stop waffling because there's nothing to do with that. But I do feel there's a change. I'm not around you at the moment, and I do feel it's a little girl coming in as well. Not trying to say anything about the photograph that you've thrown up on here tonight. It's nothing to do with that whatsoever. But I have a little girl that's come into my energy field, my awareness right now, and she's also making me aware to say thank you on behalf of someone else. Now, I believe there's a lady around you as well, not in the spirit world, on the physical side of life, that's I feel is struggling at the moment. I feel there's some kind of I'm not going to go into detail because it's a bit private, especially on this news feed, but I do feel that she's struggling mentally. When I say mentally, there's a lot of concerns going on in her mind, like worry, and I feel that she's struggling from one thing to another. What Spirit have put in my hand is a couple of juggling balls. Now I feel that there's a juggling process going on, and I feel that there's an understanding where I can't get all my ducks in a row. I'm struggling. I've got so many things up in the air, and that's where this analogy of juggling comes in. I do feel this lady that this little girl that I feel is in spirit, by the way. I just thought I'd clarify that as well. She's showing me roughly about 8 or 9 years of age, but she's making me aware that this is connected to the lady. So this message is not just for you, Kieran, it's for the lady that's around you. And she's making me aware that she's struggling at the moment. I feel also there's a bit of anxiety coming in now with this lady that's around that you would know. And also, I believe your grandmother would know of this lady as well, that spirit are telling me. I feel there's an anxious feeling because I feel like I've got an asthma attack or pressure coming across the chest, like I feel that I can't breathe as well. And I feel that I want to have some kind of inhaler or an aid to help me to breathe better. So a lot of healing vibes and a lot of love and a lot of green is surrounding this lady, and also that Spirit are making me aware of. So lots of healing vibes there as well. I'm also feeling with you, Kieran, as well, that's coming in. It's a little bit of a psychic energy coming in, but I feel that you're connecting more with the spirit world in general. And I also feel that you're asking more questions internally as well to yourself. And where can I go with this? What should I do with this? And knowing, and you know, and I feel also that you've had this awareness, this ability to be able to connect with spirit from a very young age. Now, I understand that and feel that feeling as well, because there's a comparison there with us. But it's interesting because Spirit are making me aware that you've had different occasions where you could have taken spiritual work. You could have actually be doing mediumship or even healing or hands-on healing in some capacity, but every now and then something in your life has stopped you or pulled you away from taking that up. I think, and I also not only think, but I feel that your life is settled, much more settled than it was, and I feel that things are sort of in place for you much better, in a calmer state, in a calmer way. And I feel there's a connection with going forwards where you can help other people. But lots of love and energy coming in from this little girl. She is making me aware that she's got bunches in, or like a ponytail on one side or something. And if you're not 100% sure, just do a little bit of research there as well, with asking questions to family members as well. But I just want to sort of give you that little bit of information today, as we've only got a short period of time to work. But love and light to you, my friend, and I hope that helps and helps the people around you. So thanks for working with me.
Mate, can I just say also to people that are coming in, because people all come and go, we don't expect you to sit there for the whole hour. So we know that you want a message, just let us know in the message box that you want a message, and we'll tune into you and see who's through. Okay, yeah, let us know you guys are there, still active and watching, and then we're from there. Because what I don't want to do is bring someone through. We'll know if you've gone. I think I've got a bit of a lag as well on my screen, buddy, for some reason. We've got a bit of a snowstorm going on here. from the coast. So yeah, loads of people looking for a message. Okay, great. Okay, so I'm going to mention now. I'll try this quickly, so I want to get quite a few more messages out. So I've got a gentleman here stepping into my energy. He actually came in at dinner time, and he's been patient with me. Wanting to come, he spoke to Anthony about this. He came through a bit earlier. This young man, I feel he passed in a car crash, and I'm not sure who I'm coming to with this as yet. But I know that it's someone here tonight. So if you recognise this, please feel free to comment. I've got a gentleman that would have passed with a car crash. I do feel this gentleman lived life to the full. I also feel with him he had he did have a drug problem as well. He I don't want to say he was a dealer, but he used. Okay. Okay. Hi, Celine. It might be you. Might be Bethany. I'm just going to try and bring some names in as well if I can with him. I do also know that his mum is still here, because he talks about the love for his mum and wants the message to get to her. And just a real sense of letting everybody. I do feel that the accident, I don't know why I see this, but I see it on a bend and going into, I'm not sure if it's another car, but it certainly would have ended up hitting a tree. I do feel he was going too fast, but this guy lived life to the full. There's a lot of love here. I also feel there was a connection with an auntie as well that would have been special to him, or certainly growing up. He is relatively young. Yes, Celine, I want to see he's at about 24, maybe slightly younger. Okay. I do feel this gentleman also would have had, and he keeps giving me the same message about misusing of drugs. Okay. Do you understand this, Celine? I'm just going to focus on you for a while to see if you can take this. Yes, he's quite young. I still feel he's about 23, 24. I don't know why I see a white BMW around him. If it's not him, he would have been in a white BMW. I can't work out. I'm not good with BMWs, whether they're 3 Series or 1 Series. But I do feel it's a white car. It certainly feels like a BMW. And the reason why I'm saying that, it's quite sporty as well. It goes quite fast. Still possibly with the white BMW is a thing. Do you understand that, Sidney? Okay, this sort of person came through with us before. I really want to connect with his mum. Okay, I also get. I know. I keep getting the name. It sounds like Sandra that connects in here. I feel that's more around his mother, towards his mother, or the aunt that he talks about. And this is a strain. I don't know what I get. I also feel he has another friend in spirit with him. Someone would have passed, but not the same way. He's got a friend over there with him. I'm getting the name Mark as well that links into this gentleman. I do feel the gentleman that's over there with him is slightly older, but this gentleman took his life rather than was in the same car. There was another gentleman, a friend of his, that passed before him that took his own life. And again, I'm getting the name Mark that links to him. Okay, could be my mum's name, Shirley. Okay, I just want to kind of bring his energy through to me, because I feel as well that this is for me that there was a quite dramatic and it was quite a difficult passing through impact, and I do feel. I don't want to go into gory details, but I do feel that he needs to let people know that he's okay. There's a real sense and a need from his side to send love to his mother, okay, and let them know that I'm okay. But there is another gentleman that steps in with him, that is with him. They're all like brothers, but I feel this gentleman, him, and again, around the name Mark, was in the car with me. Okay. Okay, I'm just going to leave their love with you. Thank you for working with me. It might be yours, Bethany, okay, but I do feel I'm also connected with Celine as well. Sometimes you can get a message within a message. So, do you want to go now? I've got a bit of lag on this end as well with the computer. Can you hear me all right, Anthony?
Yeah, it's just I can hear you, mate. It just sometimes keeps cutting out. It might be the snow.
Yeah, sorry. I think I've frozen out a little bit.
You're okay, my end.
Yeah, he's frozen. Okay, Bethany. Sorry, mate. Yeah, do you want to go now? Because I want to try and get as many messages in as we have to finish here.
Okay, I'm just Bethany's got some feedback here, I think, as well. So I just thought I'll share that as well.
Died on the bend in the car crash and hit a tree. That's exactly how I saw it, Bethany, actually. So, yeah, possibly with you. I'm sorry that it's really quick to get a few minutes into a message. But it's quite dramatic how he passed. And it was at high speed. It was not nice, but I do feel it was quick for this gentleman. Okay, but thank you, guys.
Okay, just going to say we've got roughly 4 minutes left, and there's a bit of a lag because of the snowstorm your end. So I'm just
do you want to do one of yours then, and I'll work out as fine because I feel I'm killing it a little bit. I'll sort that out for next week.
Okay, no worries. It's not your fault. That's fine. Okay, where are we going, Spirit? Where are we going? I'm getting an excited feeling coming in here now. I've got someone who's very a cheeky chappy coming in. So I'm going to throw this out to everyone. And rather than picking, I still feel this is a connection from you. I'm still thinking it's Bethany. I'm still getting drawn to you, Bethany. I hope I'm going to carry on. I just still feel I'm with the same link. Maybe we're crossing over. But I feel this chap. I'm just getting this chap. Very cheeky chappy. I feel he's quite young, this guy. I see him with brown hair. I feel there's a little bit of a wave in it as well. I do feel, actually, funny enough, I can hear he's got quite a distinctive laugh, like he really sort of laughs, throws his head back and really laughs. He doesn't just giggle, he proper laughs. And I do feel he's quite a cheeky chappy. He seems to have loads of jokes that he wants to tell me. Like his brain is like a glorified joke book, this chap. And I just feel he's laughing. I can see I can see a cigarette in his hand as well, and I am seeing a bit of smoke come off the end. I do feel this gentleman was absolutely life and soul of the party. That's what I'm getting this from him. He's making me aware that he's very, very known to his friends. I am seeing younger men around him, so I feel he had a collection of friends, maybe 4 or 5, something like of that standard. I still feel I'm with you, Bethany. I still that this link has crossed over from Paul to myself. If you can't take this, please say so. If you can, please also say so. But he's also talking about Andrew as well, or Andy, and he's just bringing this name in very clear as well. I do feel also that he's got a bit of stubble, this young chap as well. Not so much as mine, because he's making me aware. He's given me a razor, and he's given me a wet razor. So I do feel that this chap is either saying I need to have a wet razor because he's a bit of a cheeky chappy. But I do feel that I'm looking in a mirror now. I've got all the foam around my face, and I'm doing a wet shave. I don't feel this guy would have used an electric razor, but it's definitely a wet razor. But he is saying to me in regards to his passing, 1 minute I was here, next minute I was gone. He didn't even know that he'd passed back to spirit. And all I see is literally a big, he's showing me a big flash light, a big white flash when something happened. And I feel it's related to the incident of when he passed. And I do feel it was an accident, but I also feel, okay, Bethany's saying I had an Uncle Andrew, but doesn't fit with him. No, he's referring to Andrew, Bethany. This isn't Andrew. This is a younger gentleman who passed, but he's referring to the gentleman of Andrew as to give you evidence as well on that front. But yeah, so what a big flashing white light. It reminds me of one of those big camera lenses that flashes and goes off, and then next minute, bang, and he doesn't. It literally that I feel that was the end of the lot of his life. Okay, that's interesting because also he's given me a ring as well. Looks like a wedding band as well, and it's definitely on the wedding finger on my left hand as well. So he's referring to a wedding band, and I'm also feeling around you as well. There's like a wedding anniversary happening soon as well, and he's showing me also pink confetti as well. So it feels like a wedding, and it also feels, with respect to this wedding, there's an anniversary in respect to what he's bringing in as well. I wouldn't also be surprised with this gentleman. There's an anniversary in respect to the people that's around him as well. So I'm just going to leave that link there, and I'm going to pass the information, the baton back to Paul to see if you want to say anything further, mate.
I think just really, because I'm very aware that our time's up, but I just kind of want to, we're in difficult times at the moment, and lockdown is driving us all stir crazy, and some people have lost people, and part of what we want to do is kind of bring a bit of hope and a bit of light and a bit of, I don't want to make this into light entertainment, but it does give us hope, doesn't it? That the spirit are so close to us and our loved ones are so close. So I just really wanted to say one that's out there they're going through a tough time, and I know that a lot of people, a lot of us are collectively, just to kind of remember that light within you is connected to your loved ones, that we're never a foot away from them. So I just want to say, but we'll be back next week, Anthony, won't we? So did you want to say anything on that? I mean, I'll just get one more thing. I was just going to say, we're hoping to also invite other mediums on as well to kind of talk about their stories, or whether they've got a book coming out, or just to also add their experience. So we want to kind of bring this out, especially in lockdown. This is what this is designed to do. So same time next week, guys. Thanks, Tasha, for reminding me of that. But it will be the same time next week. And I'll definitely sort my internet connection out for them. So, thanks. Good to see you, mate. Hope you get a haircut if it's possible.
I might have to use the razor, the wet shave my head. Or
lockdown haircut. I mean, And I shall see you everybody next week. Thanks, everybody, for coming. And see you all next week. Thanks, guys.
So thanks ever so much, everyone, for joining us tonight. That hour absolutely flew by. Lots of questions coming in today. Keep thinking of questions, and if you know anyone who's interested to hear more information, please watch us both within the comfort of your own living rooms with your friends and extra family members as well. So goodbye from me, and
I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm not the two Ronnies. I know it feels like it.
And goodbye from him. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, g'day. That's an Australian then. G'day.
Take care, everyone. See you next week.
Yeah.
Bye for now.